Welcome to another episode of Love Living Local 315. We are your hosts, Scott and Kelly Greats, and today we're joined by Steve Nunno, founder of Santa's Magical Visits, a holiday experience company that brings the North Pole to life right here in central New York. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Thank you so much for taking time to spend with me.
Oh, thank you. You're a busy fella this time of year, right?
It is our time of year. It's our moment.
We got him early before the rush.
He's in demand.
So, all right, Steve, how did your journey to becoming Santa begin?
Really, it began about 12 years ago, without harping on it too much. At one point in time in my life, I had cancer. I spent a great deal of time at Roswell Park in Buffalo, New York, and that's where I was treated. Then once you kind of get through that process, which I did, there's a maintenance program that's involved with your treatment where you're maybe going once every 3 months, and that gets knocked down to once every 6 months. And the length of time is proportional to how healthy you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there in April, just getting a regular treatment. I was feeling well, in remission, just getting some tests done. And I saw Santa Claus walking down the hallway. And at Roswell, you're never alone. You always have an escort. And I asked my escort that was taking me around for the day, what's he doing here in April? And she got into a whole story about how there was a boy on the child's wing, sadly, that they were confident wasn't going to make it till Christmas time, and his parents wanted him to have a Christmas party, and he wanted them to have him with all the people he was hanging out with at the hospital. So they had a Christmas party in April for him. And so I started asking more questions, and next thing I know, they're setting me up a meeting with their head of training so that I could be a Santa Claus for Roswell Park. And it's really how it started.
All right.
And then I spent 3 years working with Roswell Park, just being Santa Claus for them when they needed it. And then other hospitals would contact Roswell, we need a Santa Claus on such and such a date, who's available. And I just said yes to every time they asked me. I just couldn't say no.
Right.
And then I would call them and kind of bug them and got any people that need Santa? And I just really enjoyed it and just kind of kept pushing it. And then the people at Roswell, which give you a great deal of training, actually, said, there are schools for this. And I said, there's schools to become Santa?
That's
And they're
amazing.
like,
That's
there's
awesome.
Santa portrayal schools. So Roswell actually sent me to my first one. And then I went to 3 more on my own and just tried to just kind of absorb this whole concept. And it kind of fell all into place. And so I just kept working with it. And every year tried to get a little better, invest more money in the program, work from one Santa Claus wardrobe to numerous wardrobes,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to fine-tune my look. As much as Santa has a specific look, and I think it's more the Santa Clauses that want to do this more than the public, we try to each have our own individual style.
Okay.
And I laugh because I don't think the public could care less. They know what Santa looks like, and they know when he's in the room. But I think the portrayal artists go out of their way to give themselves a unique look.
So you have a bachelor's degree in Santa Claus.
In a weird way, I actually
You went to 4
think,
different
yeah,
schools?
I've been to 4 schools. I've been to Michigan. I've been to San Antonio. I've been to New York City. One was an online school. I belong to the Worldwide Santa Claus Network. I'm a platinum member, which means that you have to have seen a certain amount of kids in need. And so I've qualified for that. So theoretically in this country, yeah, I've got a doctorate in Santa.
That's awesome.
I'm legit mind blown. I had no idea.
Me neither.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about those lessons. Like, what would surprise the average listener of the things that you learn that
I think
you
what
work on?
surprises most is the attention to detail. We spend a great deal of time on our look. And then I think the biggest thing is to never break character. Once you put your Santa wardrobe on, you really need to be from the North Pole, and you need to be Santa, and you need to change your personality, and you need to not have a problem in the world, because Santa really needs to just cheer people up and be in that good mood. And so you just kind of, you get to hide in the character, and you get to forget about your own problems for a couple hours too, which is fun. But I think that was the biggest thing that I learned from all the schools, was that you need to be capable of saying, I'm no longer Steve Nunno, I'm Santa at this particular moment, and answer all your questions as Santa, deal with your emotions as Santa. And Santa can have a bad day, but you have to handle that bad day as Santa. And then I think the other thing was trying to control your emotions
Yeah.
because a lot of times you're with families that are going through an extremely hard time. Certainly when you're dealing with these kids that have had some problems at these, cancer units,
Mm-hmm.
it can be the child itself that you're there to see. I found is usually in an outstanding mood.
Yeah.
They're just extremely excited to see you. However, the family members can be quite sad that day.
Sure.
I know, when we was talking to one father, just completely devastated, needed to really leave the environment because he just couldn't watch it. After I talked to him, and he was like, you did a great job, and I wasn't leaving because of you. I just couldn't watch my son go through this, and you can understand why.
Sure.
That boy understands that he's spending the day with Santa. He's pumped up.
Mm-hmm.
The father knows he's not going to make it till Christmas,
Yeah.
so it's very emotional for the family.
How do you handle that?
Very hard, actually, from
I'm
time
sure.
to time.
I mean, it's,
A lot of crying, a lot of sitting in the car alone, try to manage it, talk it out. Usually I'll leave a situation and call my girlfriend and talk through it. But it can be very emotional and has been very emotional.
sure.
Sometimes you just sit in the car I know I sat in the car, I was driving down the thruway from Buffalo, just had to pull over and just sit in the car for like 40 minutes until you
Wow.
could pull it together. Not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy to watch families suffer at that level.
Yeah. No, I can't imagine. It's unthinkable. I don't know if there's anything
Right.
worse. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
I don't want to get too dark here, but as you're talking through the years, have kids shared with you things that you have to then tell an adult, or how does that work?
Well, first of all, the kids are phenomenally honest by nature.
Sure.
But they're extremely honest with Santa. They really believe they can tell him anything. And so you'll get, again, I don't want to make it too dark of an
Sure.
interview, but certainly you get the kids that are well aware. They're aware they're not going to make it till Christmas, and it's not a big secret to them. And, they feel that they have a responsibility to their family to maybe be strong. And it's also a good time for Santa to let them know that's not their job. They don't have to be strong.
Mm.
And it's okay to cry, and it's okay to be upset about it, and it's okay to be mad. And I think sometimes those conversations with Santa can be more important than the fact that Santa showed up. I think it's the fact that the child has an opportunity to just talk. And I've been to parties where the child didn't want to stay at the party and asked if we wanted to go for a walk. I've had a child ask if I want to go outside and play Frisbee. So, next thing you're just kind of, it's their day.
Yeah.
But you can get a child to talk to you when there's a distraction event going on, like maybe playing Frisbee or catch with a child. It's amazing how much, they'll talk to you about and what's going on.
Yeah.
And if you go home that night and you think maybe you made their day a little bit better, it can mean the world to you.
I think you take the maybe out of that, Steve.
Yeah, for sure.
That's noble work, man.
It's magic.
It really is.
Santa is magic, and it's always been magic. And it's something that I would honestly say I think every person, when they were younger at one point, truly believes in the magic of Santa. It's just
Oh, I agree with that.
it is.
And I think that we start off when we're little, with the idea that Santa's this one person
Right.
that can come down your chimney and can go
Yep.
visit the world
Yep.
in 24 hours. But as you go on, children are extremely intelligent. Maybe they hit around 8 to 10. They start questioning the concept. They start thinking about the facts of reality.
Right.
But I really don't argue that with the children. I let the
Right.
children tell me what level they're at. And, if they're like, you can't possibly go into every house in 24 hours. And I'm like, I never said that I would,
Right.
Let's think about this for a minute. And I kind of walk them through
Yep.
it. And I'm like, now your 5-year-old brother right now thinks that I'm going down his chimney tonight. Let's not take that dream from him. But you've realized that that's not possible. That doesn't mean that we can't believe in the spirit of Santa.
Right.
And you just kind of walk them through it, and they're all about it. They're like, yeah, sounds cool to me.
Yeah.
They don't argue it,
Yeah.
Sure.
And I think you just don't insult their intelligence and stay at the level that they want to talk about.
Yeah.
And they're very comfortable in the conversation.
So your company is very different. You feature more than 20 characters, from elves to toy soldiers. How do you bring that to life? How do you keep the magic consistent across events? And
We do a lot of training, a lot of talking, and we have a lot of Zoom meetings.
okay.
And really what we try to do is get our concept out. So when we started this, I thought there's an awful lot of Santas in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And why would someone pick our company versus the next company or the next company? And there might be reasons why they would want a different company than ours. But if they are considering ours, I want them to know that they're buying an entire North Pole. So we call ourselves Santa and the North Pole Pals. And it's not as much that Santa is really the main priority. It's all of our characters. So our toy soldiers, our nutcrackers, our elves, magical, joyful, always in a good mood, trying to figure out a little bit mischievous and a little bit goofy. And then we have some specific North Pole pals, which I know we're going to talk about, want to be our magical moose. We have Peepa, which is a Christmas parrot. We have Twinkle, which is a talking Christmas tree. We have Blizzy, which is the North Pole that no longer wants to live in the North and is trying to move south.
That is
And he
fantastic.
talks
I
about
can
that.
relate. Yeah.
And we also have Frostina, which is a Christmas ornament that Mrs. Claus fell in love with on the tree. And she loved it so much that Santa Claus decided to make it magical and make it real. So Frostina's become real. So each one of those characters has a specific personality that we try to stay consistent with. And so when people are coming to us, we really want them to realize really what we're trying to do is walk the North Pole into their lives. So we're bringing the North Pole out to them. And we just start off with concepts of, if when you're talking to a child, I literally just say, does everybody know who I am? And where am I from? And, they'll immediately say, you're from the North Pole. And I'm like, well, who lives in the North Pole? And they'll immediately talk about sometimes the reindeer. If they're really into it, they can almost name the 8 of them, or they can name a couple. They'll tell you Frosty the Snowman. And they'll kind of stop there because who else lives in the North Pole? And then we just get into, well, you haven't been to the North Pole. There's a whole list of people that live in the North Pole. It's an entire village. And we start talking about the North Pole pals, and they start getting really
so
excited about
awesome.
them. And then as I'm talking about them and I let them think about it, then I don't really want them to know that we've brought them with us. But then I start bringing them into the room one at a time.
Oh my God, the shock on their face. Like, children are just so excited at Christmas. Like, I just remember teaching that whole month of December. You were like, how am I going to have these kids focus? Because they are literally jumping out of their skin because they're excited about Christmas and Santa and the magic. And as adults, we need to have some patience with them and even more love for them because it's the most magical time of the year for them.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Let's talk about the company. So you mentioned events, and obviously we're going to talk about the big event coming up on the 29th. But what type of events do you do?
Our company in general likes to do larger events, and we like to do charity events.
Okay.
We use the larger events to pay for the charity events. So when you're dealing with 20 characters plus Mrs. Claus and myself, so there's 22 of us, when you're dealing with that, it's expensive just to move that around.
Sure.
We also have a tremendous amount of props that we bring, depending on if that's available. Sometimes there's no room for our props. We also have a reindeer crew. We bring live reindeer, and we also have horse carriages. So it's not a small entity to bring us to an event. We dial that down depending on how much room is available. But when we're coming, it's not Santa stopping with a candy cane to say hi. We're coming in like a small army. We're bringing the North Pole to you. So with our company, we really just want to bring the entire North Pole to wherever we're going and just let them experience 2 to 3 hours of complete. Nothing makes me happier than if people can just say, I was able to forget about my day for a couple hours and just have fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a parent that can watch their child having fun is a priceless experience.
So give us an example of a location that you've done a party at or an event at.
So we work a lot in country clubs because country clubs usually have wide open space and they're very easy to, we don't need permission to bring the horse carriages and the reindeer because it's private land.
Okay.
So they're usually going to have golf cart pass, and we can just put the horse carriages on the golf cart pass. So we're very comfortable in being in golf courses. So we've done a lot of events at those type of courses. So when people arrive, they're going to immediately see our horse carriages out front. We don't use horse wagons, and I'm not against horse wagons, but we try to make it a little bit more magical with carriages. We always have 2 carriages with us. We've had up to 4, depending on. We don't want what I don't want is I want it to be magical, but even as beautiful as like Disneyland is, there's like an hour and a half wait to get on a ride. So as beautiful as it is, and as once in a lifetime experience it is, it can be a bit frustrating. Where you think you're going to get on 12 rides a day, you're going to get on 4 because you're in line a lot. So we don't really want lines. So we try to keep it so that there's not. And our elves, our nutcrackers, and our toy soldiers keep people moving around. So if they see a line, then our people that work with us and help us know to move people to another area, and we'll bring them back, so that we try to keep the lines to a minimum. So they'll get a horse carriage ride. We also have Santa's nieces. There's 4 nieces that are Winter Wonderland princesses, and they sing. And then they like to go on horse carriage rides. So they are always arguing in front of the public on purpose to try to get on a horse carriage ride. So once the public really picks what princess they want to go with, that princess will jump on the horse carriage ride with them. While they're going on a horse carriage ride, that princess will sing them a song. And so it's really quite an experience.
Yeah.
One of the things that we do if we're on a golf course is, like, about halfway through the horse carriage ride, one of the elves will jump on the horse carriage because he's going to get in trouble. He wasn't supposed to, but he wanted to get on the ride, so he'll jump on, kind of make a little bit of a scene in a goofy way. Kids usually get a kick out of that. Sometimes they kick the elf off. Sometimes he gets to stay. It depends on how those individuals run it. So there's that. We always try to have live reindeer so that they can see. We bring a couple from the North Pole and let them see real reindeer and let them pet them. We have a Santa's post office where the kids will sit down with elves and write letters to Santa and then put it magically in the mailbox. We let parents know if they want a return address on it. Santa will return a letter to them in 3 days. If they don't want to give us a return address, that's okay. There's Elf University. So Elf University is an interesting spot where the kids have to pass a test, which the elves make sure they pass, and they'll help them with the questions if they need it. Get them through the university, and then they pick a customized elf hat that they wear. And throughout the evening, they're wearing the elf hat, which lets Santa and Mrs. Claus know that they've passed Elf University, and we kind of make a big deal out of that and congratulate them as we see them with their hats on.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah, so I mean, like
it's very, very
the detail,
We
the
need
logistics.
this needs to be like on our list for next year for people to collaborate with us, and if they want to make this happen, like in our area, I can't imagine anything that would be more awesome to make happen here. For sure. I'm like,
Well, I got my wife's Christmas present for next year. Yeah,
we have so many great golf courses and people that would probably collab with us, and
Yeah,
I
sure.
think this is just
and so
awesome.
12 years of doing this, correct,
Yeah.
Steve?
Yes, 12 years. This is our 3rd year where we're doing an event so large. So I've only had the North Pole Palace for 3 years.
Okay.
I've known that I wanted to do North Pole Palace for quite a while, but it's quite an investment to make that happen. And each character is a tremendous investment. So what we did is, and I have nothing against it by any means, but I didn't want the Grinch there, and I didn't want Frosty there, and I didn't want Rudolph there. And there was 2 reasons. One, from a legal standpoint, we don't own those characters. The other reason was from proprietary reasons. We wanted those to be our North Pole pals that are from our village in the North Pole. And so if someone wants to meet and have some time and spend some time with Wannabe the Magical Moose, the only way they can spend time with that moose is through our company.
Okay.
So talk about Wannabe the Magical Moose for a minute.
So Wannabe really came from my nephew Tyler, who, watching him grow up, was always wanting to be something else. As a child, he wanted to be an astronaut. If you talked to him 2 hours later, he was going to be a school teacher. An hour later, he was going to be a fireman. It seemed to be he was going to be whatever toy he had in his hand at the time. And he had an incredible imagination, and he could bounce, like all children do, very quickly from one character to the next. And quite detailed. He would talk to you as if he was a fireman or a policeman or a baseball player or a teacher, whatever he went in. And we used to tease him, and I'm like, well, who do you want to be today? And then I just kept I had that in my head, and I'm like, Wannabe should be just like my nephew Tyler. Wannabe should be anybody that just wants to be anybody in that particular moment. And so that's how we really came up with the Wannabe character. It started off with our first story where Wannabe wants to be one of the magic reindeer for Santa. And he kind of finds out that, that's not really in his future, but he kind of figures out a little sneaky way with the elves' help how he can become a little bit of a part of that. And then we have another book coming out where he's going to want to be an astronaut. We have another book coming out, and they're small books. They're 3-page books.
Nice.
Where he's going to be a school teacher. And so the concept with Wannabe is he always, in the beginning of the story, wants to be something that he's not. By the end of the story, realizes that he's happiest when he's just himself.
That's a good message.
Yeah, so what I love about all of this is you do so many things different, right? You have this cool spin on all things Christmas. And, I read the not focusing on naughty or nice. It really hit me, right? Because that's like
That's the big thing that kids
coming from
take
the
away
old
from.
school,
Yeah. You've got to be on the nice
the
list.
threats, right? As I
Exactly.
got as a kid, right?
Yeah.
I think we all did growing up. So you focus on kindness and authenticity. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, I thought just in my own life, and I had a phenomenal childhood. I had a great upbringing, no problems, great parents, nothing to be critical about. But your parents still said at any given moment, you want to be careful. You don't want to make the naughty list, and there's a little bit of fear there in a 5-year-old to hear I'm going to be on the naughty list. So I just started thinking like nobody wants to hear that they're on the naughty list, even if they're having a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, why don't we get away from that and just kind of think more along the lines of naughty and nice is kind of branding. And I didn't want to brand these children into anything. You're not specifically a naughty person. You may have had a naughty moment or you may have had a naughty activity, but you're not a naughty person. In retrospect, not everybody's always nice all the time. We're kind of a combination of all those things all the time. So I thought it was more important to say, forget about naughty and nice. Wouldn't it be great if we were just all just a little bit kinder than we were yesterday? And for instance, we talked to the kids about Wannabe has a tendency to like to go into Mrs. Claus's bakery and steal chocolate chip cookies. Now he steals those cookies, which is definitely a naughty thing to do, but he goes and he hands them out to all the other reindeer, and he doesn't even have one for himself. He just gives them out to the other reindeer, which is a kind thing to do because he's giving the reindeer a little bit of a treat, even though he didn't really get permission to give those treats out. So he's thinking about others, even though he's kind of swaying on the naughty list, but he's still a kind moose. So we kind of explained to the children that it's a little bit more important, in our opinion, to be just kind to people. And if you can have a kind moment and you can improve somebody's day in any small way, that it's a lot more important than whether you made the naughty or the nice list, because we don't really believe anybody stays on the naughty list. You could have a naughty moment, but you're not on that list and can't be taken off.
Wannabe lives in the gray areas. I dig that about him.
Yeah, Wannabe definitely pushes the envelope in the North Pole, but there seems to be always a kindness to all of his decisions.
Oh, that's so awesome. So your signature event at Hotel Utica is coming up Saturday, November 29th.
Yes.
What can families expect from this experience?
Well, we are bringing the entire North Pole, so we're excited. So we're bringing both horse carriages. We're bringing the reindeer. We're bringing Elf University. We're bringing Santa's Post Office, Santa's Stable. We're going to have a craft fair where the kids are going to be able to make snowmen and keep them. There's going to be all kinds of sweets and treats there for people to enjoy. Hot chocolate stations. There's going to be Santa's bringing his magical magician who's going to do kind of walk around magic throughout the evening with the children. He is dressed in a complete candy cane outfit. It's gorgeous. It's a tuxedo, but it's all looking like a candy cane. Then he does actually a 30-minute magic show at the end of the evening for the kids. The princesses will be around all night. They'll be on the horse carriages. They'll be singing all evening. All of our princesses are excellent singers. One actually is an off-Broadway performer. She's gorgeous voice. Santa will be there doing a story time where he kind of talks a little bit about being naughty and nice and how we really want the kids to be more concerned with being kind to others. So there'll be a story time in the end of the evening. It's a 3-hour event, and really we're cramming about 5 hours worth of activities into 3.
That's awesome.
We're really bringing inside snow. So we got snow machines indoors where the kids can go into a room and it'll snow on top of them. So
will you be right in the foyer, the lobby?
we will be.
Yeah.
We've actually taken the entire hotel.
Okay.
So
which is an amazing setting. The inside of Hotel Utica is
just
gorgeous.
Christmas all over.
Yeah.
It's one of the most beautiful places, really is.
Yep.
And when we brought Santa up to visit, he said, "This is where I want to party." So the reason we were able to get him really was because Santa's going to be at New York City doing the Macy's parade. And so he's only 4 hours away from Utica.
Yeah.
So we knew that he had to, because we know all the people that work with Santa, we knew that he was going to have his sleigh worked on right after the Macy's parade, because he needs to get it ready for Christmas Eve. So he's bringing his horse carriages down, coming up the thruway, going to stop in Utica and just stay right here at the Hotel Utica for the weekend, then go back to New York City, get his sleigh, and head back to the North Pole.
Nice.
So he's going to spend the weekend with all of us right up here in Utica.
Great weekend to do it.
For sure.
Are you going to have outdoor activities, or is this all indoor?
So the reindeer and the horse carriage rides will be outdoor, and everything else will be indoors.
Okay.
And so they'll be on both floors. We're using both ballrooms, the mezzanine, the lobby. And as soon as you walk in that day, it just says the North Pole all over it.
Tickets limited?
Right now we're having some trouble. So we have a maximum amount that we're going to get into the building, and we're getting a little nervous that we're getting close.
Yeah.
So that's just going to be the unfortunate part of it. But for safety reasons, you have to stop
I
at
get
certain
it.
numbers.
I mean, yeah, you
But
can't host the whole world.
And this is an experience, like you just explained. I mean, I know that a lot of families for a long time, the Polar Express was a big deal.
Yeah.
And the train ride and everything. And parents know that if they want their children to experience something like that, they need to get those tickets early.
Yeah.
So anybody that's listening right now, if this sounds like something you want to do, you better.
If you're not too late already.
Exactly, for sure.
We'd love to have everybody get there, but like I said, we'll come up with, if we ever got to the point where we had to do it 2 weekends in a row, we would love that opportunity.
Oh, I'm
So
sure.
We'll see how this one goes.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to it.
So what has been one of the most memorable reactions you've seen from a child or a family during one of your events?
I think really as the children are so easy to work with that it's not really the children that affects you, it's the parents.
Yeah.
And when I had a father come up to me and tell me at one of our events that didn't want to come, wasn't in a good mood about coming, knew that his child wanted to be there, and of course you do things for your child. We all do that you don't want to do. And the father said, I have had a blast all night, and I think I believe in Santa.
That's so awesome. The joy of it. It's too. So Scott, I'm going to tell a little story here with the Christmas trees and the outdoor decorations and everything that goes with Christmas. My trees are already up. They have fall decorations on them because Scott is very much a huge fan of Thanksgiving. But he would never help me with any of the outdoor decorations or the Christmas trees or any of it.
I stay in my lane, Steve.
He stays in his lane. But then the joy of it all. So when you're telling that story about a father who is just like, well, I could be doing other things tonight. This is not really what I want to do. But the magic of all of it and just the joy on your kid's face when they see it is just awesome.
So what's next? How do you make this even better, or do you need to? Like, is this where you want
it?
It?
Can always get better. Honestly, we're just looking for different ways that we can make it more entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
My goal is to make it more Disney-like. I'm a huge fan of Disney. I like studying their business plans, not only as a fan, but from a business person. They're obviously successful at what they do, so mimicking them isn't a bad idea.
Yeah.
If I was to say anything negative about Disney, it would simply be, or Universal Studios for that matter, any of those larger corporations, they're just almost too big, and it gets too expensive, and it's hard for the average person to go to.
Really hard.
So really what I want to make sure is that it is hard to put these events on affordably, but I want to make sure through getting sponsors to help us, keeping the costs down. I don't want someone to not attend our event because it wasn't affordable.
Mm-hmm.
And we just want to keep making the event more and more enjoyable for everyone. So that's really where we're going.
So get the magic bands, tie it to the parents' credit card, and then let the kids go willy-nilly to every station. And then, when we leave Disney, they can't even get the bill under the door. There's like 8 pages of charges.
Yeah,
but
it is
quite the money suck.
It is a sponge for whatever was left in your savings account.
But it's the most magical place on earth, right?
It's amazing that they take so much of your savings account and you leave smiling. That's quite a talent.
Yeah, right.
And people keep going back. How many people do you know that just go to Disney once?
Yeah.
They're
This seems like just a natural marriage with whether it's sponsors or, donors or whatever you want to call them, people that want to give during the holidays, right? So we do a lot with, we have a local Graham Lorraine project that we donate toys and stuff the bus and clothing and the Secret Santas and all these things. How can people get involved or can they get involved with sponsoring a family? I guess there's a weird line there with all this stuff, right? But identifying families who maybe can't afford this or wouldn't know about it or do it, is that, something that's part of your plan?
Yeah, we're all about that. So 2 things can happen. They can contact us through our website. They can contact me directly. I'll make sure that we get our phone number out to you.
Mm-hmm.
we definitely have businesses buy tickets for family members or for family that can't pay for it themselves.
Hmm.
So we're happy to donate those tickets to them. And we also have businesses buy tickets, and then we'll donate the tickets to people that that business may specifically not even know.
Sure.
Like, for instance, if a family buys 5 tickets, we'll ask them, hey, would you buy 6? So that one of the tickets can go to someone else. Now, if we can get 5 families to do that, well, then we got 5 extra tickets to now bring another family.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of that. And Helios Health has actually been a big proponent of making a major investment. And then all the tickets are donated to children that wouldn't be able to afford to go. And Helios paid for their tickets.
That's awesome.
That's so awesome. So, all right, to parents out there, if you could tell parents, something to do to create a meaningful experience for kids at home. Let's say they can't go to the event or whatever. What advice would you give to parents moving into this holiday season right now with their children?
I think it has more to do with necessarily the holidays versus just, it's amazing what spending time with a child will do. And what I have found in my own life is that I can very easily come up with reasons to be too busy. And it's not hard because we're all living a busy lifestyle. But then actually, when I was recovering from cancer, I started to think, I could leave this planet at any moment. I think I better get my priorities straightened out. And, an hour with a child versus an hour at work. And I'm not trying to tell people to quit work, but I have a tendency to work till like 1 a.m. because it's just quiet time and I can get a lot of computer work done. Versus, why don't I just, go somewhere with my kid and go have some fun?
Mhm.
And, that hour of work isn't going to change the world, but that hour with my child might change his world forever. So I think that it's just time. There's really nothing that you can give a child more important than your time.
And just the whole elf thing has taken this world by storm with the elves moving. At first, it was just the elves moving every night, the household elves. And then you have some parents that take it to the next level where they're bringing gifts every night. But like that experience, I know, at least for our son, I mean, he was so excited every morning to see what the elves did or where they were. And at times it wasn't even a big deal. It was just move them just
Yeah.
for the magic, you
Yeah.
know? And sometimes as parents, we need to stop and realize that that window of time that we get with our kids is very, very small.
It's priceless.
It's
Oh, no doubt.
priceless, and I would do anything to have it back for sure.
Well, I think in anything
I don't know
in
if
life,
Scott
we
would.
all realize we could do better, right? So
Yeah.
we always things we want to do different. But I think we also have to realize we're not doing as bad as we think we are.
Exactly.
And when you don't really hear about it, like one of our daughters is 25 now, and she's just starting to tell me of the things that she liked that we did when she was a child. But up until now, she's been quiet about it, and we were just kind of an annoying parent. But all of a sudden, she's like, that was fun when you would bake with me, or that
Yeah,
was
the
fun when
memories.
one of the funniest things they laugh about at our house is I tried to come across as a very macho, masculine person when they were growing up. I don't know why. I guess it was an ego problem. But she would want to paint my fingernails, and she would constantly come up with these colors. They weren't even one color. They'd be like 3 different colors, and But I would just let her do it. And she said, "Do you know how much fun that was for me to paint your fingernails?" And I'm thinking, to me, quite honestly, I found it annoying.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking to myself, that's what she remembers is painting my fingernails. And why not? What's wrong with that? That's a
Yeah.
great thing.
Yeah, your perspective on time is fantastic. And, I think there's no question here, but just I think we're losing part of what Christmas is or was, right? We used to have Thanksgiving, everything was closed, right? Like Christmas Eve, things were closed.
Yep.
Weekends or Sunday was protected time, and it's like nothing's sacred anymore. Where,
Yeah.
I think part of the magic of Christmas is it does, for most of us, allow us to just take a break, take a week off from work or a little time off from work and step away and enjoy those moments with the family. And, I guess the message here is because the world's not stopping, we have to be the ones that stop it. And even we don't do this, full disclosure, but like a digital detox day where like, our kids don't, and we don't have cell phones, and let's go do something and leave the phones at home and just be present with each other. And there's just not enough of that. But what you're doing, and you've mentioned it more than once, is creating those hours of time where you can just forget about everything and be present with your family. And that truly is magical.
Or it's the season for giving.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that we have definitely instilled in our children. They are more excited to give the gifts that they have gotten for others than receive and open up their own gifts.
Yeah.
And just your whole message of kindness. Can we just be kind through the holiday season and think about others and do nice things for others? That's the real magic of Christmas, and that should be everybody's goal this holiday season.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect. I do.
Well, Steve, Santa, we end all these with some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
This was probably the most fun rapid fire.
I did
And I'm
read
probably
these.
going to have questions beyond some of these follow-up questions, but let's do it.
Okay, hot cocoa or eggnog?
Hot cocoa.
Reindeer ride or horse carriage ride?
Reindeer.
We knew that one.
Favorite holiday movie? That's a tough one.
God, I don't even know. Santa Claus.
Okay.
I got to follow up to that one, though. So is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yes.
All right.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Settled. I mean, I should never be talked about again. You heard it here.
tree lighting moment, indoors or outdoors?
Outdoors.
One holiday memory from your childhood you will never forget.
My father bought me a snowmobile.
How old were you?
13.
That's
It was a
awesome.
Polaris. I'll never forget it.
Elves, toy soldiers, or singing princesses? Which is your favorite character and why?
I think the elves, because they're always goofy and silly.
Okay.
Snowy day in central New York. What's your go-to activity?
I like going to Old Forge.
One word that describes what you hope every child feels at your events.
Happier than when they got there.
This one I think you already answered, but we'll do it anyway. Quick tip for parents to keep holiday magic alive at home.
I think spend time with them.
Yeah. So Steve Nunno. Been so much fun. Again, Saturday, November 29th, Hotel Utica, 4 to 7. Tickets might be gone by the time you hear this, but the website is santasmagicalvisits.com. I would encourage everyone to go there or contact Steve, get yourself on, whether it's a mailing list or just connected through social media, and really encourage you if you're looking to give a unique gift, right? And I think some of the best gifts are the ones that you give anonymously,
Yep.
right? Where you're doing it because it's the right thing to do and you feel good. You don't need the person to know. And so to be able to gift this experience to someone you don't know, knowing they're going to have this experience, I think would be pretty special. So get involved with the project. And Steve, thanks for all you do to bring the magic
Thank you
to
very
our
much.
community.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.